Hi, everybody. We are going to make a bunch of single sheet books today, and I'm going to make short videos for each book instead of trying to make a really long video because there's going to be 7 different books, but they're all really simple. That's why I'm doing that many. And you're just going to need, I think I've got 7 sheets of paper here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because there's 7 books that I'm going to show you how to do. So we're going to start with the one that is the single sheet 8-page book. And it's really, when people talk about single sheet books, this is probably what they're talking about. And I'm going to make one more video that I'm going to show you all the different samples that I have of these different single sheet books so that you can see some student work from the past. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with a single sheet of just 8.5 by 11 copy paper. And the first fold that you're going to make is to bring the short edges together. So you take a short edge and you bring it over to the other short edge like this. And then you just give it a fold like that. And then you open it back up. Let's go ahead and break the fold, which means, so when you see this fold, you can see that it's kind of staying in that shape, which is a valley fold. So it's down away from me. This would be a mountain fold when it's pointing up towards me. And so to relax that fold, we're going to reverse the fold. So I'm just going to flip the piece of paper over and reverse that fold. So go back against the first fold that you made. So now we've broken that fold. And now the paper lays a lot flatter because the grain of the paper has been broken in both directions. So now I'm going to fold it with long sides together. So I did the short fold first, and now I'm going to do the long fold. So the long edges together. Like that. And then again, I'm going to open it up and then break the fold, which means fold it back against what we just did. So it's the same direction, but the opposite side of the paper. Okay, so now I have a piece of paper that's been folded in half both ways, short and long. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piece of paper and sort of softly fold it in half, but not fold it, but just kind of bring one side up. And then I'm going to bring one of the short edges into the fold. So I'm going to kind of use the edge or kind of the slant of the paper to guide me. And I just kind of bring that in, and I don't want to crunch it. I don't want to push up against it, but I'm using that to guide me, and I'm probably pulling it away. You probably can't see that, but I'm using like a hair, like the thickness of the paper away from the fold. And then just crease it down. And then I'm going to break that fold. So I'm going to flip it over and fold against that fold again. And then I'm going to do it on the other side. So now that side is the one I just finished. And I'm going to do it on this side. So bring the short edge into the center. And I'm kind of using the other edge of the paper, the other half of the paper, to guide me. And then once I get it in position, I just stop and then fold it like this. And then break the fold like that. Okay. So now we're almost there. Now what we're going to do, and I'm going to draw this on here just so you guys can see it better before I just make the cut. I am going to cut the center line right here of this folded piece of paper. So I'm going to cut from here to here at the center line. And I'll use my triangle just to, you don't have to draw this. When you're doing it, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So that's the cut I'm going to make. Oops, right here. Okay. So the center, but I'm not cutting all the way out, just kind of cutting from the center like that. Okay. So now I can cut that. So I'll just take, you can use a ruler if you don't have a triangle. I just use my triangle a lot because it's smaller and I don't know, I just feel more comfortable. So you can see I used the little fold of the paper to kind of stop. I can't push past that. So that helps me line it up. And then I usually pull away just a tiny bit so that I'm not accidentally cutting too far. And then I just take my X-Acto and I cut from that point that I marked down. So I'm cutting from this fold to this fold and stopping. So now I've got this slit in the middle of the paper like that. Okay, and now I'm going to grab the piece of paper and I'm going to kind of, my fingers are underneath it. My thumbs are on top of each long side. And I'm going to pull it apart like this. And the paper wants to do what we're getting ready to do. It's wanting to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that and then I'm going to kind of bend it in half like that. So this is what it looks like flat with the slit there. I'm going to open it and kind of bend it in half and I'm going to grab these folds. And I'm sort of making like an X or a T shape with the structure. And then what I'm going to do is those two sides, I'm going to fold them forward because that's when I'm holding this piece of paper, that's what it feels like it wants to do. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I just collapse that down. And then this is going to be the front or back of the book. And just the way that this feels to me, I want to pull it forward. So this is the part that gets a little bit finicky because you're wrapping around, if you look, you're wrapping around a thickness of paper here. So it's going to want to pull back and you might have to kind of finagle it a little bit to get it to look good. And it does take a little bit of adjusting because it's never going to be perfectly square. And the more time you take, the better this is going to be. And then when you've got it all folded, you can take your bone folder and just push around all of the edges gently but firmly. And don't get too crazy with rubbing your bone folder because it will leave a little burnish, shiny mark on there, which you don't want. And there is our single page book. Like that. The top of the book is the folded edges. And the bottom is completely open, unfolded. And that's the single page book. Okay. All right. So that's number one.